YouTube fan community, Ringo Starr fans, random people on the internet. My name is Giggins, and we are here today to talk about Ringo Starr's latest album. I think it's his 19th, Give More Love, released on Records. I really don't have a whole lot of negative things to say about this album. Basically, if you're a fan of Ringo's music, you'll like it. If you're kind of on Ringo's music, you're probably feeling about it as well. Really, if there's anything Ringo's really good at, it's being consistent. He knows a formula, and he knows how to stick with it, and he knows what works for him and his friends when they come over to jam, and they make an album together, and it's a good time. And you feel that spirit on a lot of the songs he's done in the last 20 years, basically since like Vertical Man came out. You got some really, really great tracks throughout these last 20 years, like Never Without You, or Choose Love, or Liverpool 8. He's got some really fantastic songs in this catalog he's been building consistently over the last 25 years or so. This album, I feel like, is one of his strongest he's put out, like, cohesively as a whole, and I think that's because there's less songs on it. Some of his other albums get up to like 14, 15 songs, and you're just kind of like, alright, Ringo, like, we get it. This one basically is 10 tracks, with 4 bonus tracks after that, and it's really, really solid. I like the fun, easygoing spirit on a lot of it. He kind of dabbles in country, a little bit of reggae, some pretty straight up rock. There's some good like sax solos on this thing, and I like the storytelling. And he continues in the vein of giving off his life story through music. Like he started with Liverpool 8, and then The Other Side of Liverpool, and he's doing this again with Johnny Guitar on this album. So really, I don't have a whole lot of negative things to say about it. I found this really, really enjoyable, and I've been playing it basically nonstop for a while now, so I think it's great. He announced this album on his birthday in 2017 on July 7th with the track Give More Love as like the lead-off single, which I think is a great song. He's also put out a few other singles after that. I don't really know how you count singles anymore these days because people don't pay attention to that stuff, but We're on the Road Again came out July 28th. So Wrong for So Long came out on the 18th of August, and then on September 8th, Standing Still came out. The album story started as a country project with Dave Stewart producing. They were going to do a whole country album together, and as is tradition, basically his friends came over, a lot of the guys from the All-Star Band and some other people like, Paul McCartney, dropped by. And as they started getting these tracks together, that Ringo kind of realized, all right, this is just going to be another rock album, but let's just do it this way because he liked the feel of it. He liked where it was going, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. And it shows. That said, I do think Ringo could do another country album and have it be extremely successful. A lot of artists that were in the pop rock tradition that have done country albums have gone on to have like humongously successful country careers, and maybe Ringo would be a little late to that, but he also kind of did that first. Almost first. Back in 1970. Anyways. This album, again, I have to reiterate, I think it's really, really decent. Man, let's just jump right into it. We're on the road again. It starts off with this great rock riff, and I love the youthful spirit on this thing. And the lyrics are great. It's Ringo saying how we're gonna kick ass, we're gonna go out on the road, we're gonna play our songs for you. And he self-references himself again by mentioning Photograph. But that's one thing I do like on this album. It's not like every other song is remember that time I sang It Don't Come Easy, or let me just throw a bunch of Beatle song titles together and make a song out of it. Which is okay. He can do it. He's Ringo. But, yeah, Paul plays bass on this one. Real big, splashy cymbals. I love the real tight drums on this thing. Ringo has never stopped being an amazing drummer. His groove is, you just know it's him. You just know that it's him when he comes on. It's got like a nostalgic vibe to it, but it's also got a real youthful yearning. It's got this forward-thinking optimism, showing absolutely no signs of slowing down. Like, you look at this guy in the back cover, like, that guy's 77 years old. You would never think that. Like, he's still going out on tour, rocking and rolling, running out on stage every night, playing a whole bunch of songs. Paul McCartney's the same way, the Rolling Stones. Like, these guys have just been out there forever, like, doing it. And I think this is what keeps them young, is making CDs, making albums, and, getting together with their friends and jamming and just having a great time. Rock and roll ain't noise pollution, man. Yeah, really, really enjoy this opener. I think it's one of the best tracks on the album, and just a lot of fun. Laughable. He wrote this with Peter Frampton and Benmont Trench from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Plays keyboards on it. I like the cool group vocals on this thing. I like the low-key, kind of chill, bouncy vibe that this song has. And there's some good lines on this too, like, you know, it's going to hell, but it's not forever. We got to come together, like, you know. All right, so there's another Beatles reference, but I like that. I like that Ringo's got his brand, quote unquote. You know, like he can do his thing, and you're like, all right, no one else can really get away with stuff like that, but Ringo, Mr. Sir Richard Starkey, can do it now. Congrats, Ringo, on getting knighted. That's awesome. Show Me the Way. This is a song about Barbara, from what I was able to figure out and read about, and Paul plays bass on this one. He co-wrote this with Steve Lukather, and I really liked this song. It's a sweet kind of ballad. It's a little on the long side, but it keeps your attention. You know, sweet message, lots of love in this thing, lots of heart, and it's nice to hear Ringo sing like a tender kind of song. I think Ringo's got a great voice, and when he, you know, branches off from his norm, it really helps him shine. It shows that he's got a very versatile voice, and he's a better singer than he thinks he is. He's always been not super keen on his voice, but, you know, I really think he does an awesome job with a song like this. Speed of Sound. This is cool. He co-wrote this with Richard Marx, who's been in and out of his all-star band for years now. When I saw him in 2006, Richard Marx was playing with him at that tour. This song was cool. It's got like a running down a dream Tom Petty vibe to it. I really, really enjoyed that. Ringo's voice is just in perfect shape. He sounds so full of life. And this song really, really fits his voice very well. This could have been a single if you ask me. Like, this should be on the radio. I think it's a great song. And Peter Frampton does a talk box solo. Holy crap. Awesome. Very cool bass line on the song too. Standing Still. This is probably one of my favorite songs on the album. Really cool sing-along chorus. It just stays in your head. Georgia Middleman does the vocals with him in the background, which I found out her and Gary Burr are married, and they have a pop country sort of group called Middleman Burr. Fun fact. But her voice works really well with this. And I love this tune because it reminds me of Lightning Frightening. Have you heard that Bowie song? It's like I have it on The Man Who Sold the World, like ABKCO 1991 CD release, where it's like bonus tracks. It's got that lightning frightening feel. Cool acoustic guitars, cool shuffle beat to it. I love the chorus. It sticks in your head. It's fun to sing along to. Great stuff. King of the Kingdom. This was a co-write with Van Dyke Parks. Holy crap, that's awesome! So yeah, Van Dyke Parks is still writing songs and hanging out with Ringo. And if you saw the videos from when Ringo did his Peace and Love birthday thing this past year in July, Van Dyke Parks was there. I think Jeff Lynne may have been there. Jenny Lewis was there. Very cool, and they all sort of jammed. And there's a video of Jenny singing Only You with Van Dyke Parks doing the accordion, which is pretty cool. There's a couple lines on the song, though, that do border on U2 territory. Like, they said that one love, one heart line kind of thing, and that really is like, you're getting kind of close there, pal. But not too bad. Kind of a reggae feel to this song. Electricity, I love the name of the song, but I think they could have just called it Johnny Guitar. You know, if he's continuing in this vein of telling his story without writing a book, but just putting it out as music, I think the name Johnny Guitar could have been a really cool song title. But Electricity is awesome. Joe Walsh just absolutely shines on this thing. His guitar work on the song is phenomenal. Don Was plays bass on it, which is cool. Benmont Trench is back on keys. You know, Johnny Guitar was a guy that was in Rory and the Hurricanes with Ringo back in the 50s, and, you know, he's one of those, there's a story of Ringo talking about him, I think in the anthology, where they were on stage one time and they wanted to sound more rock and roll, and so Johnny Guitar plugged his guitar like into a radio or something, and they got kicked off the stage for being too rock and roll. You know, 50s. But yeah, I think it's a cool song, real fun. So Wrong for So Long is a Dave Stewart co-write and came out of those country sessions that they did. I'm wondering if there's more than that, or this was like the best song that came out of those sessions. I'd love to hear more. His voice works so well for country music. I love the slide guitar. Middleman Burr is in the background vocals here again. Yeah, it just works. His voice just works for country. So it'd be cool to see him do a country LP at some point, full on. Just jump in, old school country, do it, man. Shake It Up is a Cars cover, just with different lyrics and different music. That was was a joke. That would throw a joke in there. No, it's not. But it's got a real cool 50s vibe, like a Matchbox kind of feel, which, again, works great. It's got that big 50s-esque production, almost like an Instant Karma sort of effect to the production, which is nice, but with that big 50s rock and roll feel. And then the album ends with Give More Love, which I think is an absolute wonderful song. A great message, great melody, great harmony. For me personally, I'm hearing a lot of Never Without You in the chorus, though, that dun, 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 which is like very from that song. But good message. I love that Ringo, talks about peace and love all the time. I like that. People think it's cheesy. He's going around waving his fingers as peace and love, but hey man, someone's got to do it. And Sir Ringo, peace and love, peace and love. And that's where the album ends. There are 4 bonus tracks, and I have to admit, I actually really like these remakes. A lot of the times with remakes, I'm like, why would you ever bother doing something like that? But these were well done and well chosen and well put together. Back Off Boogaloo, this version in particular is like a vocal and guitar take that Ringo did in 1971 or something. That he found in a box. He was going through a box and found some tape, and he was like, "Oh, what's this?" He put it on, and it was him basically singing this demo to himself. He does the guitar, he does the drums, he does the vocals, he does some percussion, and then they kind of added on some new elements and new tracks to it with Jeff Lynne. Joe Walsh shreds on the slide guitar bits. It's just a super fun version, and it takes away the military marching drums and gives it a more straightforward beat, and it really works. I think it's great. Don't Pass Me By, again from the White Album. Ringo does vocals and piano on this take, and it's like a slight country-tinged version of it. Really low-key, kind of a chill vibe to it, but I love the production. Very tight, very clean. This is a simple, nice, sweet track with a refrain of Octopus's Garden at the end. I'd like to be under the sea, So that's kind of fun to combine those 2 songs together. You Can't Find Lightning, I think that was originally on Stop and Smell the Roses, and he does this with Alberta Cross. Again, kind of just brings it up to date, kind of like when he redid Wings in 2012. And the album ends with a cover of himself doing Photograph with Vanderveer, which again, I liked. Simple, lighthearted, and that I'm happy they went with that kind of approach. If they had done something like big production with the song, or if they had tried to recreate the original magic, it would have fallen short. But because they did their own thing with it and just did it now, I think it works really well. So can't complain about that. But yeah, overall, I mean, I've been buying Ringo's albums now, the new ones, ever since I don't know, I guess Vertical Man with like La Di Da came out. I remember that one when I was a kid. I remember liking that a lot, and I think Choose Love has some pretty good songs on it. Liverpool 8, I think, is a fantastic album. And Why Not? Why Not's a great album. There's some excellent stuff on that record. Then you got 2012, Postcards from Paradise. Like, he just keeps putting music out. So if there's one thing to look forward to, you're always going to get a new Ringo album every couple of years, and I think that's fun. He's always on tour. It's good to see Paul playing with him again, and Paul screaming on the background during We're on the Road Again. So yeah, overall, I get a real fun vibe from this album. I really enjoyed it. If you like the Ringo feel of him getting with his buddies and making music, you're going to dig this. It's fun. It's just a good album. For people who get on the internet and be like, oh, Ringo's never going to write Let It Be. Yeah, probably not. Who cares? It still sounds fun. Like, there's room for this in the world. So that's all I got to say. In defense of Sir Ringo, who I think is one of the best drummers of all time, this is one of his best solo albums. I'm going to put that out there right now. It's up there with Ringo. It's up there with, oh man, there's Goodnight Vienna is a good one. I think Old Wave is a really good Ringo album. And Liverpool 8. I really do think a lot of the best work he's ever done has been in the last 20 years, but people just aren't buying it. This thing peaked at like number 128 in the charts. So like, go buy it. It's fun. It's good. It's Ringo. It's a bloody Beatle. So that's my review. I'd probably give this thing a 7 or 8 out of 10. It's just a good album to put on and not get anything too heavy and just enjoy it. Yeah, so that's it. My name is Giggins. This has been Album Reviews with Sir Richard Starkey. Give more love, and that's what we should do. Peace and love, and I'll see you in the next video. No autographs.